SPY bears suddenly decided to wake up right as Jim Cramer made a bullish post on Twitter. And I'm not even kidding. These were actually executed right as he posted. Plus, super unusual call side activity in IBIT, Bitcoin's ETF, as Bitcoin is breaking out 2 new highs. All that and much more in today's video. Make sure to subscribe, like the video below, and let's get started. So SPY flow got hectic today, and this is pretty unusual because the past 1 to 2 weeks or so, we really haven't seen that much activity in the SPY tape. We had these 3 orders here, so 1.3 million in premium, 2.7 million in premium, and 3.8 million in premium, all put sweep orders for out the money strikes, specifically this 600 strike. So both November and December expirations, and these November ones were very clearly bought to open because you can see here the size of the order, the volume is over the existing open interest. And also you can see this just based on the order details. Majority of these were above the ask, or at least the overwhelming majority were executed above the ask, as well as that volume to open interest graphic over here. So very directionally bearish speaking at the moment. There is some extra time on this. We've seen other prints that were bullish with varying time horizons on them. For example, a super unusual one today, 1.2 million premium for the 750 strike on SPY. So this one expires in a little over a year. So this was, of course, a call leap order, but pretty uncommon. You see something like this, even for a call leap that has such a far out the money strike on it. And you can see there's a little bit extra to that as well for 2.5 million in premium. So a lot to unpack today, as well as some of that Bitcoin flow, because that is breaking out big time right now. What I want to do first though, is show you some of the dark pool data that we've seen this week from SPY, because this was critical to last week. If you remember, the bounce that we actually had from a key level that has led to this melt up has actually started from a dark pool level. So far this week, 1.5 billion at the 644.85 level. That has been the most meaningful by far. And you can see the rest of the week, really nothing, all things considered. So far, this is nothing to bat an eye at just yet compared to last week where we saw some of that big flow. So I'm going to bring you to the chart, show you what I'm looking at there. Like I said, these dark pool prints have been key for critical support levels as we've continued to melt up. This 636.93 as well as another one at 637.03 level was the starting point to this Tuesday rally, and then continuation in today for Wednesday. So this has been very influential to this continuous upside. And also, if you remember from the original kind of buy point for SPY that I talked about in the near term, we had this 627.59 level that acted as an amazing support, was the literal low day, continued to go up a lot higher, rejection off that dark pool print, and then eventually broke up above the dark pool print, tested it as a support and continued even higher. So far, that's been the name of the game, just finding these key levels that have a lot of premium behind them, looking for 3 billion plus ideally, or a lot of consistency around it, and just seeing if price can crack above it. If it can, you're looking at more bullish continuation. So like I said, there was a lot of those put orders from this week, and you can see over here, Cheddar Flow posted, and not only this, but also that Jim Cramer said bullish may not be stopped today. And he posted this actually at the same time that they posted this SPY put order was executed, which I found pretty funny. Regardless, if you go back to the chart over here, just because they bought November and December puts doesn't mean that we have to follow them blindly and add those puts as well and expect it to fall off a cliff. That's just not how the market works. You have to use context clues. So we know that they're starting to add more further dated bearish positions, but does the chart support actually shorting it? And right now, I see it as long as we stay above this 636.93 level, this is going to continue to bid, whether it continues to grind higher, kind of like it's done so far from here, or it comes back, pulls back and retests and then continues higher. It doesn't matter, because as long as we're above this key supportive level that both acted as a hard resistance over here, as well as a very clear support, it's just going to continue to go higher in the near term. So this is the level that I'm going to be watching. If for whatever reason into OpEx, we were to fall off a cliff going into Friday and then fell below here, then you're looking at something like a daily close under where that shows confirmation like, hey, we're probably going to fall back down, retest this area over here. If it falls below there, then we'll go to that elusive 608 to 610 range, this area that I keep circling because I've circled it in other videos now, as you're probably familiar with if you've been watching these on YouTube. But until something like that happens, until I get confirmation, I'm just not going to short this because there's a couple puts that were added. If that's more consistent, then maybe you can start to form a thesis based on that flow. But realistically right now, as long as it remains above, I'm going to continue to have that long only bias. And that's just the reality of it. And we've seen a lot of these call prints as well along the way. And I'll show you over here on Twitter. You can see earlier, they actually did it. The Cheddar Flow post here on Monday, we posted this whale, bought 5.9 million worth of out the money SPY calls. 2 days later, and they're up 87%. So they made $5.1 million in under 48 hours. So insane trade that they made here doesn't mean that because we saw those further dated SPY puts that those also have to pay in such a short duration. They could still pay out a month from now. The benefit of an order like this was it was an August or later August expiration, highly unusual with a lot of premium. That's going to have a higher probability of working out in the near term. And of course it did in this case here. And also, by the way, they have a sale right now until Friday, I believe. So it should end by end of week. So if you're interested in getting in a good rate right now, you can do that with the link in the description. Regardless, these are the kind of SPY trade setups that I'm looking for. Highly unusual on SPY, a lot of size. You're going with the momentum, clearly works based on what we saw from the chart just from earlier in the week. Remember from that Sunday video, I was looking for that breakout above 636.93, roughly 637. It was able to do that. It's just a beautiful opportunity there. It works. It's complementing flow and technicals. I'm not just using one or the other. I'm using them in conjunction with each other. You want to optimize the amount of variables you have in your favor in trading. So that's the plan for SPY going into the week. Looking at this level, as long as you remain above, it will continue to grind higher in the near term at least. The next important topic I want to talk about is twofold. One is this Ethereum trade. This was absolutely beautiful. I'm actually all out of this now. You guys know I've been talking about this for a couple months now, ever since we had this failed breakdown, which by the way, Bitcoin just completed a failed breakdown and is now breaking out. But this failed breakdown, we had a previous range right here. It broke down. And the reason it's a failed breakdown is because then it just picked up right after and then continued. These are very bullish because it shows that there's still a lot of existing demand under. Sellers were unable to overcome that. And as a result, was able to reclaim, like I said, and then continued with that nice upside momentum and broke above everything, even this key downtrend, this blue trend line over here. And looks like it's en route to all-time high at the moment, but was already over 100% move on just the actual spot price in this case. Absurd. It was able to do that. And Bitcoin is also looking very, very strong right now, likely following in suit. Probably not 100% move, but likely to see something like 140,000s next, which is what I've been calling for a couple of months now, like ever since June. So this is a beautiful inverse head and shoulder pattern, macro inverse head and shoulder breakout over here, followed by a bull flag, very lengthy bull flag. And over in this area, you can see we also had very similar consolidation to Ethereum, failed breakdown, the same duration, literally 3 days, was able to reclaim it, and now it's breaking out. So beautiful similarity between both charts. It also works from a fundamental perspective, just understanding the reason for why it's doing what it's doing, and now is breaking out. We saw some insane flow this week on it, and I'll show you that right away. So as you can see over here, $4.2 million print today for the at the money strike. This expires in February, so still some time for it, but still a decent amount of premium relative to what we've seen in IBIT recently. This, of course, is the Bitcoin ETF, if you're unaware. Then as we scroll down here, we saw a lot of call prints yesterday, specifically for call leaps, at the money call leaps. That is, we could see 1.7 million in premium, 1.7 million, 1.7 million, another 1.7 million, etc. So a lot of activity on those. Some of them were coming in bid side, but this looks like net buying. We could actually check order details over here. The majority did come in at the ask, and also the volume is well over the existing open interest on these. Applied volatility was also increasing on the majority of them, although it looks like they sold off some of them near end of day, maybe too much of a position going into the close. Regardless, IBIT typically does not receive flow activity like this, so definitely something has been going on. Looking for that potential breakout move here in Bitcoin. And actually, as I'm recording it, if we go back to the chart, it looks like it's just about to set a new all-time high. As you can see here, you're looking at it live, even though you're watching this video after I recorded it, but a very nice upside move, as you can see. And once it does clear above this all-time high that was set all the way back here, beginning of July, then there's a lot more room to run in an impulsive manner. Honestly, I could see this going well into the 130,000s in a very quick fashion, just because of how much energy it's built up between this consolidation over here, as well as that failed breakdown over here. So a lot of money to be made on Bitcoin here, kind of lagging what Ethereum's move already was. Still really impressed across the board on this one, how it's performed so far and how it will perform now going into the future. So other than that, as always, appreciate you guys watching this video. Congratulations on a new Bitcoin all-time high here in a second. If you do celebrate, I'll see you guys next time.